Hello people, it's 2:50 a.m. in the morning here in Perth, Australia. I don't know about you guys, but I've been having a problem sleeping. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed, I try to leave it as late as possible so that at least I can get a straight 5 or 6 hours sleep. Yeah, no, 2-3 hours later I wake up and I'm wide awake. And I'm not the only one that's having that problem. But let's continue, shall we? Oh, we have another one of them, them that have been pulling rules out of the hat every so often. The COVID Trace app is entirely voluntary. Now, this is what this guy says, okay? The COVID Trace app is entirely voluntary, will not be surveillance device, and is designed to speed up coronavirus testing. What, the actual app is going to test you? The Government Services Minister, Stuart Robert, has said. That'd be Stuart Robert. Yeah, problem is, Stuart, anybody whose eyes are open, they're not believing any of you anymore. It is a big Team Australia moment, he said. When this app is released in the next week or two, we really need every Australian to download it and to run it, so that if indeed your family, you, come into contact with somebody with the virus, you can rest assured that health officials will rapidly contact you and seek to provide the best care possible for you. Of course, it's always for you, isn't it? Always for your safety. Robert said when the pandemic was Robert said when the pandemic was over, the app would be deleted and the data would not be retained. Does that really fucking matter, considering that they monitor everything anyway? Really? The app has been delayed after privacy law monitors, including the Human Rights Law Centre, told the Health Minister, Greg Hunt, he needs to change that surname. In a letter, they were worried about the types of data to be collected by the app. On Saturday, the Prime Minister confirmed the app would be voluntary after indicating on Friday he would not entirely rule out making it mandatory. Well, put it this way. You want to make it mandatory? I, for one, my suggestion to everybody else is ditch your fucking mobile phone. Ditch it. Literally fucking ditch it. You lived without it before. You didn't die. You lived without it before. Ditch it. Robert said the process of manual tracing every contact from each COVID-19 diagnosis would speed up by days if a person suspected of having the virus had downloaded the app. There is no geolocation, there is no surveillance, there is no tracking. So what the fuck is the app for? What is the app for? There is no geolocation, there is no surveillance, there is no tracking. I mean, the app simply connects with another app. If those two phones are within 1.5 meters for 15 minutes, it simply swaps phone numbers and names. That information is held, encrypted and securely on the individual's mobile phone. The government wants as many Australians as possible, more than 40%, to download the app. Wanted to assure everyone that there was no hidden agenda. That's coming from the government. Are you fucking kidding me? And people are supposed to believe this? People are supposed to believe this? Like that accidentally, oops, half of Australia decided to catch on fire? Conveniently, the side and that the place where the new train was going to be going through from top to bottom on the East Coast? Really? No hidden agendas? Right now, if you test positive to coronavirus, health officials will sit down with you and ask you to trace back where you were and who you have been with, he said. They fail to tell people, though, okay, that we all have corona in our body. And if your temper's up or whatever, however it is that they read it or whatever, the doctor that came in and explained it, if they test all of us and our temperature is up or whatever, we're going to test for corona because it's in our body already. Anyway, and it is really hard to try to remember the 90-year-old lady in the queue behind you at a shopping centre or a family that was close by you for whatever purpose. See, they always put that, that they go to the heart, the 90-year-old lady. Well, I'm sorry, dude, but no offence, but she was going to die anyway. We're all going to die, eventually. It's the only thing that's guaranteed. No hidden agenda. But this is the part that I like the best. So they say that it's not permanent, whatever, and they need you to do it. See, they need you to download a certain amount because then that gives them the people's approval, that people want it. You know what I mean? So they have to have over a certain amount, a certain percentage to be able to do it, okay? So if you don't download it, they're missing out on that percent. So I, for one, am not going to download it. But also, it says, on Saturday, the Prime Minister confirmed the app would be voluntary. See, it says here, voluntary. After indicating on Friday he would not entirely rule out making it mandatory. Well, how about you just keep your mobile phone? See, it's not for tracing and tracking and whatever, but look, the app we are working on to help our health workers trace people who have been in contact with coronavirus will not be mandatory. They need to make up their mind. It is or it isn't. It's not one day it is, the next day it isn't. What's wrong with these people? Is it just fucking me? What's wrong with these people? You are or you aren't. Do you know what I mean? He is here clearly using the word trace people. To trace people. But up here, where is it? Whoops, I lost it. Where is it? Where is it? There is no geolocation, so how can it trace? There is no surveillance, so how can it trace? There is no tracking, so how can it trace? I tell you what, and they want people to believe them. Only a fool would believe this. And yes, I know there will be fools out there. There's always those fools out there. There is no geolocation, there is no surveillance, there is no tracking, but how are they going to trace it? If none of that is there, how are they going to trace it? How are they going to trace it? The app we are working on to help our health workers trace people will not be mandatory. But hey, we're leaving that option open, even though we say will not be mandatory. Make up your fucking mind. Because like I said, I for one, and my suggestion is to everybody else, if it gets to the point where it's mandatory, ditch your phones. Ditch them. Take the batteries out where you can. Chuck them into an aluminium tin of sorts, whatever. When you go out, do not take it with you. When it's at home, leave it in the tin. Take the battery out, leave it in the tin until you want to text somebody and then text somebody and do the same thing, put it back in wherever. Do not take it out with you when you go. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. Your choice is your choice. Whether you download it or don't download it, hey, that's your life. But you can't go on what they say. One is saying one thing, the other one is saying something else. And even if you just look at one of them, today it's this, the next day it's that, they can't make their mind up. It's like they have no idea what is going on. They're trying to enforce something. It's like they're testing out some kind of a plan. Oh, we should put in this place, but hey, if we go too fast, the people might get suspect. So we can't go too fast. So we'll do a little bit. But then we can't do a little bit because if we need to push this through and we only do a little bit, then it's not going to go through. It's like they're reaching for fucking straws. I mean, look at all the photos, all the footage that is out there. Social distancing, this is going to go on for 2 years. Oh no, but then 4 weeks. No, but if you comply and you download the app, then this could be over in 4 weeks. But no, hey, fuck it. We're going to keep you social distancing for 2 years. I mean, this is a joke. This is a joke. They are a joke. But anyway, people, do what you want, do as you please. Either or, it doesn't affect my life. I know what I'm going to be doing. On the upside, people,